Go.
Breaking news. We found out Americans know absolutely nothing about the government. We are taking today to cure the national epidemic of idiocracy, passing it to Cameron to educate you sheep about the president.
It turns out no one has any clue what the president does. He actually does a lot of stuff. The president has 8 main jobs. First, chief of state, which he serves as the figurehead of the country. Second, chief executive, which is enforcing all the laws of the nation. Third, chief administrator, which is leading all the departments and agencies of the executive branch. Fourth, chief administrator. Chief diplomat, nation's chief spokesman for the rest of the world and the main architect of foreign policy. Commander-in-chief, leader of the military. Chief of party, unofficial position, which is that the president acts as the leader of their own political party, whichever one that is. And chief citizen, which is that they represent the opinions of all the citizens and help them through tough times. But of course, to get all this power, you have to meet a few qualifications. You have to be a natural-born U.S. citizen. You have to be at least 35 years old. And you have to have been a resident of the U.S. for at least 14 years. You can only have that power for so long. You can have it for 2 4-year terms, and that's if you get reelected for your second term. But you will get a $400,000 a year salary with a $200,000 a year pension plan, and you'll get $50,000 a year to spend however you want, and you'll get $100,000 to handle traveling during your term. You will also get 24/7 staff, and you'll get to live in the White House. If you want to not look like an idiot next time someone asks you about the executive branch and the president, you should probably know the answers to why is the president considered chief legislator, who can the president count on to advise him, and what is the salary of the president. Now, sending it to Hugo Ayala.
You're just in. Joe Biden fell down a flight of stairs, rendering him disabled. The news? The next in line is Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, Patrick Leahy, Anthony Biggins, Jeanette Yellen, and Lloyd Austin. Under the 25th Amendment, the Constitution, when the president declared disabled, he can be forcefully removed from office. Was the will of the Vice President and majority of Cabinet. Vice President Kamala Harris, second in line of presidency, will eventually become president and will nominate a vice president with a majority of votes of both houses of Congress. Okay, passing it to call now.
In order to get a hold of this killer job, the president, you must go through the election process. In order to win, you need a total of 270 electoral votes. And electors is based off each member in the House of Representatives plus 2 senators. Electors vote for candidates is chosen by their state's popular vote. But most of the time, electoral. Oh, dude.
Keep going, bro. You can do this.
Let it out post.
Come on, Reporter Cole.
Sorry. The Electoral College, as it does not accurately represent the voters, since the president is chosen by the Electoral College and not the popular vote. People see the Electoral College as unfair due to its inaccurate representation. So there have been proposed ways to change it to make it more fair. One way is to get rid of it and to use a system called split electoral votes, and the other one is the automatic plan. On the other side, people see the Electoral College as fair and argue that not only is it part of the Constitution, but it maintains federalism them and encourages national campaigns through the landslides, victories, and provides a public check in case they make a poor decision for the president. Passing it to Hugo Ayala.
I am Hugo Ayala. Okay. Okay. Every American needs to establish a criteria for evaluating a leader. So a good leader must take a solid stance and address issues, just like Abraham Lincoln created the Emancipation Proclamation to free the slaves. With this criteria, our top five presidents are John F. Kennedy, fifth secretary of being a good leader during the time of economic recession. JFK addressed the situation accordingly and saved the jobs of millions. Number 2, Teddy Roosevelt can be considered a great leader since he expressed good leadership skills such as the Square Deal, domestic policy promising the average citizen fairness, breaking trust, and regulating railroads. Franklin D. Roosevelt created a New Deal which reduced depression among the sad fellas. Abraham Lincoln, he freed the slaves from the Emancipation Proclamation. And George Washington. And number 5, George Washington led the Revolutionary War for freedom against the British. They were good presidents because they helped progress the United States towards advancement and left many marks on the country. Each of them did a good job stabilizing the nation in times of hardship, shown exceptional leadership, and made changes to the nation for the better. To close our section, I'm going to send it back to Joe.
Hold on one second. All this talk about being the president, but how does one get to become it? Well, I'm glad I asked. How could someone become a serious nominee for the presidency? Firstly, you need lots of money and donations from PACs and the common people in order to fuel your campaign and campaign staff. You need to have the best odds you will have the best odds when you are running Republican or Democrat and getting enough votes from delegates. What are the characteristics of a person nominated for president? A person nominated for president must be able to appeal to a large audience for voters. Traits that are looked for are compassion, leadership, diligence, competence, morality, and experience. Most candidates were already involved in government or law in some ways. Now, what are the primaries and caucuses? Primaries and caucuses are meetings for states to select potential presidential nominees. Primaries use secret ballots for voting, and caucuses are local gatherings of voters who vote at the end of the meeting for a particular candidate. At nominating conventions, they select a nominee to unite behind and have run for president. The nominee also selects their vice president and running mate at nominating conventions. Now, how many presidents have been two-term presidents? Well, 21 presidents have been two-term presidents. What is impeachment and how does it work? Who has been impeached? The impeachment process is the process that allows the House and the Senate to remove the president from office. While a committee is not required and the House can simply start the floor vote, every impeachment process has formed an investigative committee in order to verify the crimes the president has committed. If a majority of the House votes for the House votes for the president to be impeached, he becomes impeached. Then the same process occurs within the Senate, and if 2/3 or more of the Senate vote for impeachment, then the president is removed from office. Now, 3 questions you should already know the answers to are: what is the difference between the House and the Senate? What are the checks and balances that hold the president and Congress accountable to each other? And what is a filibuster? Heading over to our cutest reporter, Cameron.
Now, on to the components of the executive branch. Despite what your teacher in 5th grade may have told you, the executive branch is not only the president. The executive branch also contains many other parts, one of which is the cabinet. The cabinet is made up of 15 representatives that are often the people the president is closest to. The president will choose his closest confidants for the cabinet because the cabinet's job is to advise the president in his decisions. Another part of the executive branch is the executive office of the president. The executive office of the president was created by Franklin D. Roosevelt, and they're responsible for helping the president with some of his tasks, which would be promoting trade interests and paperwork. It also contains entities such as the Office of the Vice President, Office of National Drug Control Policy, and Council of Economic Advisors. The White House staff are also a part of the executive branch. The White House staff are just all of the people who work in the White House, which would include the caretakers of the House and assistants to the president, and the president chooses personally all of the people who work in the White House. The First Lady is also considered part of the executive branch, although she does not have an official role. It has been more of a honorary role, where the First Lady now functions as the hostess of the White House, planning meetings and organizing dinners for the president. Now, 3 things you should know about the parts of the executive branch. 1, are there more members of the executive cabinet or the executive office? 2, what is the First Lady's official government role? 3, who chooses the White House staff? Now, thank you guys for letting us do this news broadcast. We're hoping now we can answer the question, are you smarter than a 5th grader?